Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you a Monster Legends topic video. Today I want to talk about what I personally think is the best element at the moment in the game at this time. This kind of pertains to a recent question on one of my streams, where I was asked, what do I personally think was the worst element in the game? I already did a video on that. That's already said and done. It's right after, it was right before this one actually. And I wanted to talk about what I think is the best element in the game for this video. Now, there's a lot of good elements in the game, but I like for me as a competitive player, I like diversity. If there is a category with as many options as possible, with as many choices as possible, with many different situations, many different outcomes, I would have to say the best element for that would be Dark. Dark is extremely, extremely expansive. There are so many dark monsters in this game, way more than there should be. I think there's way too many dark monsters, and I think there are way too many light and metal monsters. Yeah, there's a lot of those. There's just a bunch of them. I think those have the highest monster counts in the game. Is dark, light, and I don't think metal has as much as water. I'm not too sure on that. I don't know which has more water or metal, but I would at least like to think dark, dark light. Well, I think magic has a lot too. So that I don't really know. I know for sure there's a lot of dark monsters. If there's one category that has way too many dark monsters with way too many outcomes, it's this one. It's the best element I think in the game because it's so expansive. There are so many dark monsters in this game. There's so many different kinds of traits that the dark monsters have. Be it like immune to possession, immune to stun. I don't think there's really one immune to freeze yet. But there's abomination monsters, which are immune to all forms of possession. As far as I'm concerned, possession is the best deny in the game at the moment, because you can chain it, and the enemy just kind of works for you. I think possessors are just stupid. They're just really good, and dark monsters have nothing but possessors or freezers. You know, they have like one freezer in the form of Krampus, but they also have stunners, small stunners like Jabeline, or like AoE stunners like Harusami, and they have supports. They have Kethar, they have the Undertaker. They have a lot of things. They have a lot of things that do better than other monsters and other elements. It's a very, very diverse group. You know, oddly enough, though, I don't think it's my best ruined one. I'm not too sure on that. I think in terms of my best ruined monsters, it would have to be either Metal and Earth. But yeah, I think everything in this category is good. There's a lot of things in the dark category it's just dumb. It's just really good. I think this is the best element. It does a bunch of burst damage, so it outscales fire as far as I'm concerned in terms of base damage, which is really good. I guess you could say the best kind of way to kill someone in the game if you could just burst them turn one without any complaints. And these guys do a good job. They're good at killing the tankiest monsters in the game. They're good at killing earth monsters. They're good countermeasures for that. Again, diversity. There's just a bunch of supports. There's a bunch of options you can go about. That doesn't mean it doesn't have its fair share of garbage, but it has very few garbage and a lot of good stuff. There's nothing but good stuff. As far as I'm concerned, dark monsters have always been a top tier category in the game. It has access to one of the best nemesis monsters in the game in the form of Samuel. One of the best extra turn double damage dealer monsters in the game in terms of giving people double damage. I think Metallica is the fastest one that gives the best damage buff in terms of like damage, like triple damage. Extra turn triple damage removes all negative effects. But I think this one gives you the best double damage precision, and I think it also removes negative effects. I'm not 100% sure on it, but I've always known the Plague Carrier to be one of the best kind of demise things in the game, or the thing that does extra turns feels. It's one of the best ones. Again, it's just a bunch of diversity. Fognar, one of the best rainbow monsters in the game. If you run life, strength, and speed, say your prayers. The other enemy team, good luck trying to do damage to this. It's just a bunch of good stuff. I could go down the list of very good, popular dark monsters, and you would agree with me. And it has some of the best old school monsters. While they're not necessarily newish compared to the newer dark monsters, they still have really good relevance in the game. Krampus, for example, old as dirt, one of the highest speeds in the game for a denier. Still holds that to this day. It's like in the 500 range. Really, really good speed. Has undeniable deny in the form of freezing in terms of its own element. Good for taking care of other dark monsters below its speed. Barbatos, extra turn, double damage precision with burning, so it even has its own DOT built into it with AoE format. Strongest burst damage skill in the game, 90 damage. It's just got a bunch of, there's just a bunch of good stuff. Akinotep, though his stats are kind of off meta, I mean, like, I don't think his base stats are as relevant anymore. He still has one of the strongest debuffs in the game in the form of Daze, Blind, and I think it did something else. Was it damage reduction? It's like a plus invarv. It's like a plus invarv. It's just a really good debuffer. Mommy, AoE stun, single target, 2-turn possession. You can see my point here. There's just a lot of stuff in this category that's good, and they have better traits than fire monsters, and they're more diverse than other monsters. I'd say this is the most diverse category in the game. There's a lot of stunners. There's a lot of deniers. There's a lot of damage dealers. A lot of damage dealers, actually. And their self buffs are better than their fire damage counterpart brethren. They might do a little bit less DOT damage, but they give that up for more base damage, which is really good. I think like despite not having too much DOT compared to fire monsters, I still think that's fine. They still do what they do way over damage. They just have better self buffs and they have better sustainability. They even have access to lifesteal. A lot of dark monsters have access to lifesteal, which is good. And they have like damage dealers that buff themselves. They don't need a buffer usually for the most part, so you can fill it in with anything you want at that point. Just whatever you need at the moment. It's just really diverse. I think I think this is one of the best books in the game, or not the books, elements in the game, because it's so diverse. There's nothing but diversity when you use this element. There's damage, there's supporting. Again, I really think this is the best element in the game at the moment because it's so diverse. You can do whatever you want. In terms of a dark war, if it's a dark war, there's a lot of choices you could do. There's a lot of diversity. You can run around with maybe like a team of deniers or possessors or what have you. It's just a bunch of good stuff. Joustar, I didn't even bring up Joustar. Some of the newer really good dark monsters in this game. Joustar, like the same speed as Krampus, but better. Guys, they got an AoE possession. He can AoE possession. He's a Thedes counter, gives stamina refill back, can hold an essence. When Relics was released, a whole lot of monsters got buffed, and Joustar was just one of those monsters that got healing put into his kit. He has the option to heal or revive himself with Uriel's essence. There's just a bunch of diversity. I love this category. Also, it has some of the best named monsters in the name, like Hey Man or Hi Mess. Just some of the best monsters named in the game. I mean, look at this. Keithor. Is that not metal or what? Keithor, the Undertaker, Carlo, Calbino, Murate, McBlood, Legion, Ziofet. Just a bunch of cool names. Krugbo. Just a bunch of cool names. Fuck no. It's just a bunch of good stuff. Just a bunch of good names. Some of the better traits in the game they have, immune to stun, hardened, immune to possession. Again, even some of the older as dark monsters are still pretty good to this day. Which can't be said for a whole lot of other elements in the game. But this one, they still hold relevance, either due to their really good moves or really decent base stats. It's one or the other. It's just a bunch of good stuff. Some of the best monsters in the game lie in the dark category. And it's just really, really good. If there was a debate on, if you guys could think of any better one, I would think you guys would tell me metal is also one of the best categories in the game. I'd also agree with you. Metal also has a bunch of different stuff in it. AoE possessor, same kind of feel. Really good. As far as I'm concerned, in terms of metal monsters, they tend to have some of the best traits in the game too, like the artifact. They usually are home to one of the best traits in the game, which is artifact. Which is second place to Spirit. Right now, Totem is the only monster with Spirit. But I think if there was like a damage dealer or a denier with Spirit, every single person would use it. Because it would be immune to everything. And it could get all the buffs in the world. Like that's the thing with Spirit. It's basically artifact without the... without the negatives of running it. Like when you run an artifact monster, they can't have any positive buffs. But with Spirit, you can have as many positive buffs as you want, like regen, life regen, stamina regen, double damage buffs. You just name it. You can get any positive effect, double healing. You get all of it, which is really good, extremely good. We just got I guess it wasn't too recent ago. It's like the nuclear event. I'd say it's like second recent compared to Talos, but there's a Wojtek now. But you guys didn't come here to learn about metal monsters or why because I just said Dark was the best one. But I think Wojtek pretty much makes it so there's really no point for like mountain monsters, because this thing makes everyone on your team like mountain monsters. So basically, if you run a team of possessors, like things that can give immune to possession, or like Joustar, for example, Joustar would be immune to everything except for special deny, like stop time or mega stuns, mega freeze, what have you. But you get my point. You basically become almost an almost complete Warthog. And that's amazing. If you ran two things immune to possession and then you run Wojtek, you're immune to everything in the game because there's two chances he'll do an AoE shielding, and I think both apply the immunities, which is good. But yeah, we came here to talk about Darks. Again, I think Dark just has a bunch of different things you can run with it. And I think that's really good. Extremely good. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on this in the comments below. Do you find my justifications for thinking that it's the best passable or non-passable? I was just kind of thinking of an overall sense. What's the most useful category? I really do think it's this one because they have a lot of deniers. They have a lot of attack damage dealers that just kind of overshadow other monsters and other elements with a bunch of variety of goodies, and they're very variative. As a competitive player, I like things with variety, and Dark monsters are very, very, very variative. There's so many things you can do with them. I think light and metal is also competition for them in terms of variety. They just like those three categories just have a bunch of variety. Even magic monsters, I think the top variety of monsters in the elements in the game are dark, light, metal, and magic. Because magic has a bunch of monsters, metal has a bunch of monsters. Light has a bunch of monsters. It's just a bunch of monsters everywhere, and they do a whole bunch of different things, and they're getting better. I kind of find that there's too much of all these stuff. I think they need to focus more on nature and fire monsters. I think they need to improve on that. But overall, yeah, I'd say this is one of the more broken elements in the game. There's just too many good things in the dark element. Samuel, these deniers like Joustar, Nishan's Pet, just really good book variety. Everything. Everything's just really good. And that's really nice. That's really it for this video. I'm Dib the Awesome, and I'll catch you guys later.